This is system test 3 of the Hills Reliance R128 security system. Today, apart from the fact that we have a blank plate, this is filled out, and there has been a significant upgrade once I close the door. Good enough. Hearing protection, I don't know where the hell it's gone. It's over here, and it's got its new hook. Until I get some proper headphones, I'm going to use my parents. And obviously we have the can itself. Now, the ComNav has arrived. I do have to shout out Paul from National Alarms Australia for listing this for a reasonable price. And I'm currently in the planning stage of getting a second panel for access control. This would be the Concept 4000. Currently, we obviously have the panel as usual, but we also have a wireless router here, which the wireless is actually disabled. It's just a router. And that is because I could not get this to work properly on my home network. Additionally, the zones on this thing are not wired in, so we're going to ignore those. This has support for 2 extra zones and 2 extra relays. The relays are not being used. That is all the changes. Anyways, this is now filled out, and this is entirely correct. I'm not going to scribe on this because these I'm going to keep in good condition. So, we have obviously the Duras code changed because I changed the program code. Well, actually, I changed it and then didn't. So there's no phone number on this. I have not set up phone numbers because of a safety thing. And all of this information is correct, such as changing the tone, and all of these. Now, note that partitioning is enabled, but there is a complication which I'll show later. And all of these zone descriptions are completely correct. This was updated not on the 26th, it was actually updated yesterday, which was the 31st of January. Now, today I will also be showing DLX900 programming, additionally, as this ComNav module supports some things. Now, getting the web interface was not easy, because this panel uses a different, because the firmware version on the ComNav module is too new. I don't know why it's zoomed out, but I'll fix that up. It does not support keep the live web interface, even if option 6 is enabled, which is a bummer, but I can cloud access, so it's not the worst. Now, we will, I think we'll, from the panel, and then I'll go jump over to the computer and show how this works. Alright, as you can see, I currently have the DLX900 software open, and we're going to be looking at the programming options for this panel. So if we go into the username and password, which is Cadix, the default password is 1234, but as I've already logged in, I've already changed the password. Now it's going to ask us again for operator access. It's the exact same credentials, unless if you change them. So now it's going to go show some personal information, so I will have to cover some things. But this is all that matters here, and everything but the serial number will be visible. And we are now going to go access the panel. So what we do is we go download, we can just click this button here, and you'll see that it will get the device data, and it is now connected to the control panel. Now, if we want to go control the alarms functions, we can make it sound for except I don't know why it's showing that. That's wrong. There is no fire trouble at all, unless it's having a little bit of trouble. So if we now disarm, I'm going to turn on siren for this. You will hear them. I will actually And now if I press the disarm button and click all, you'll hear that that goes off. And if we have a look at the keypad, you'll see that it's all disarmed. I seem to be having some troubles with this because there is no fire trip, although I might be able to look now. There is no fire trouble, that's incorrect. But I don't know why it's doing that. But we can also program from this. So if we ignore that and exit the keypad control, we can, this is the disconnect button, which will allow us to disconnect from the panel. We'll just go reconnect because we can. That doesn't seem to be working right now. There we are. Now we can also configure the control panel. For example, this is all accurate information. For example, there is no user 3. 99 is set to the code. The Duros code is set to 3333, and the program code is called Robin 5 Security is set to the default. I changed it. No phone numbers are set. There are 2 partitions configured. And obviously there are 8 zones, the rest of them are just default, and number 8 is actually a smoke detector. Except that the smoke detector's not here yet. I'm actually going to go change the program. We're going to go send section, and just wait a little bit because I want this to be available on the 2 partitions that are currently set up. Now if we go to system 1, you'll see things like phone cart or alarmed, blasted arming, blasted end of exit delay, blasted closing kiss off, and all the other ones. These don't matter, but this one does. Siren to voltage output. There's also a battery missing test, which we're not going to do now. And obviously we've got system 2, which has lost clock service LED. Disable the onboard zones, so only expanders. No bypass repeats for some. Enable 2-wire smoke, auto partial alarm area 1. You have to set that in each area, by the way. And obviously the entry times, such as the partial entry. You can also set like 6-digit codes in the code for 98 and 99. Clock does not matter. And we can also print this, which we're not going to do now, but I will probably do it and go put it up in another video. And we can also configure the devices. So currently, if we have a look over here, there are 2 devices enrolled. The device 191, which is the ComNav module, and 192, which is the keypad on this first partition. The keypad is set up as master. Obviously, we can edit the names. So if we go zones, Zone 9 should actually have a name. There are obvious, area 1 is main area. Area 2 is sub area. I haven't actually configured this bit before. Users, user 1. And then there's other stuff, but that doesn't matter. And obviously the entry and exit we do not need to touch. Enter the keypads. Alright, now we can only send a device for this. Now we are done with that. Now if we go to the keypad options, a lot of these options we can't do on this keypad, such as show menu prompt and custom message. We aren't going to disable master because that will cause issues. Beep on panics should be off as well. Because if I were to enable custom message, it could break the keypad because the keypad is not designed for LCD control. I'm not probably going to buy an LCD keypad because they're not cheap. Card readers and door controls, as you can see, I'm looking at inner range devices, so they are going to be looking, they'll come probably in a couple months. Now, that is the DLX900 portion of this video. We are now going to look at the Home Assistant portion. I have spent a little bit of time writing up the Home Assistant integration for this. There is a fork of the popular HA UltraSync integration, and I've had to add a couple of things such as the alarm control panel. Now, I'm going to have to blur a hell lot of this because this is my private instance. And if we go over here, you'll see this. This is all correct. We cannot control area 2 because of an issue with the integration. We'll only check the first one. However, all these zones, they are ordered and everything. If I record the lights again, because these do go off. I am now. And press the arm button. Note that the siren is still on. And you can hear the exit delay going on. Now, if we disarm from the panel by clicking this button, he will somewhat trip and then it will go back on. We can also do home, which will in partial mode, which bypasses zones 5, 6, and 7, which are set up for partial bypass. Because I believe, I don't actually know why 5, 6, and 7 are. I believe I set up other zones because 5 and 6 should never be bypassed. I might have to go check zone configs, but I won't do that now. And now it's armed in partial mode. So now if we go turn it off, what I can do is, if we have a look at this, I can bypass from the Home Assistant control panel and it will be reflected on here. And, as you can see, it clears. Now, the web UI requires a little bit more setup. I'm back on the cropping mark on the camera because this one is not supported. But we need to actually access programming mode. So start 8, 9, 7, 1, 3. And wait until the service light starts blinking so that we can access the programming menu. Alright, now if we leave Home Assistant, we can now go to the dashboard, which we remember is 10.4.84.254, and it will prompt for our login credentials. The default username is installer, and the password is the installer password, which I entered wrong. The thingy. There we are. Obviously, there are 2 errors. CodePad fire. I don't know why it's reporting that. There was probably a bug or something, but it's all sorted. Obviously, all of these are correct. I changed Zone 7 to Office, which isn't reflected on there, but it will be. I'm not going to click any of these buttons, but we also get a log, and my email, alarms@soccercat.net. I don't mind sharing this one, by the way. Obviously, you've got all of this. That's going to get hidden. I have the time set wrong. I'm actually going to go fix that. Where's +9? I'm UTC +30. It is April and October, I believe. I don't remember. The time should change and I can go check that. All of this we don't touch. Network settings, this is all correct. Output settings, we can go control how these outputs go. IP reporting, I have to hide the serial number. And the name editor is how I change the name of these zones. I cannot change zone configurations here though. And I cannot, now for bypass a zone, you can't bypass zones in programming mode. So we're not going to look at that. However, we can arm even, I don't know why it's reporting a CodePad fire. Might need to restart. We can arm it away and you'll hear it go off. I'm not going to record it. Then we're going to go disarm. The interesting thing is the CodePad is not reporting a fire condition. So I don't know why it's saying CodePad fire. I'll have to have a look at the manual and might need a restart. However, that will cut it today.
So if you did enjoy, please subscribe because the inner range panel, it is not cheap. So it will be quite costly. However, it will be a great addition because it will allow access control to this panel. Thank you.